tradition when you all go back to Atlanta to film? I'm thinking like karaoke, some kind of bonding thing.
Joseph is in charge of social activities.
Alright, so I organised a gathering and then cancelled it the day after. And they won't let me forget it.
That was swiftly followed by Phoebe Tonkin inviting us to...
Oh yeah, what happened there?
And then cancelling the day after as well.
I was invited to a party with Daniel Gillies and Scott Baio, and then you didn't show up.
I did cancel that last night, unfortunately. Charles was in charge.
Scott Baio, who of course will be a vampire in season 3. Now, going to the show, we've seen Klaus and Hayley kind of trying the co-parenting thing. It did not really go so well, as we all saw. How is Klaus going to kind of be as a parent without Hayley around?
Well, you know, before he alienated his entire family by toasting Elijah's girlfriend and cursing the woman he was in love with, Klaus survived sort of under the umbrella of Elijah's protection and forgiveness, I suppose. And so Elijah was always a voice of reason, and Hayley was always there to battle it out with him. So I would say badly. He's going to do badly as a single parent, you know. And I think he knows he's kind of messing it up, but he's trying. At least he's trying. You've got to give him that. Even if he's warping the mind of his young daughter before she's uttered even a syllable.
Jeez. Well, I imagine he can always compel, you know, a few dozen nannies, but he does have Elijah there to kind of help him co-parent. I'm thinking like shared schedules, midnight feedings, who's doing what?
It's like we both wake up when the baby's crying, and it's like, are you going to get her?
I think I'm going to be there, it's going to be me.
Alright, okay.
I'm going to do the graveyard shift. I know that all too well.
Yeah.
But you know, we got to remember too, Freya's going to be doing the lion's share of
oh yeah, she can do it.
No, but come on, like Freya's Switzerland at this moment.
That's true.
I think for both of us to be in there, it's just, I'm going to stop talking.
Speaking of Freya, you know, I think Riley's a great addition to the show. You know, it's got to be kind of tough coming into such a tumultuous family and kind of finding her way. So how is that character kind of gonna fit in season 3, and how is Riley fitting in with you guys?
I think Riley owned it. I mean, she felt to me like a Michelson right from the beginning. Very strong, very intense, and you know, 25% bat insane. And very, very great addition to the family. I think Klaus made a calculated decision when Dahlia told him that she would be needed to raise this child because she was a firstborn Michelson witch, and without Dahlia, Hope might go a little bit off course. And Klaus said, no, there's no way I'm gonna let my baby be taken by this witch. So he made sure that she was taken down and then invited and made peace with his sister and brought her into the family. So she has a very important part to play in this family. And I think Daniel's absolutely right. The brothers are estranged, but Freya, who has wanted a family for 1,000 years, is coming into that compound, and she's gonna live there, and she wants for there to be peace in the family, and they're going to need to find some way to deal with one another given what's coming.
Well, and I think anytime you bring somebody in under the umbrella of the Michelson family, or even really within the cast itself, you know, you're always sort of like, how's this going to work, and is this person going to be, you know, are they going to fit in? And what's beautiful about Riley is that she just is one of those great personalities, great, you know, wonderful spirits that she just kind of dropped right in and made herself at home. And we wish she was here. She's in Atlanta with her mom.
Yeah, it clicked right from the beginning, you know. When we first did the scene with her, she walked right between Klaus and Elijah in the graveyard and kind of threatened us both, put us both in our places. We're like, okay, she can.
I wanted her off the set. I said, get her out of here.
He said, listen,
get her out.
I feel extremely threatened by this actress. But, you know, despite his protests, we kept her. And then, you know, she told the story of her childhood with Dahlia, and so then we got to see a little emotional side from Freya, and she rocked that as well. And so I think at that point everyone was like, hey, can she stay?
I think we should only talk about Freya.
Any more questions about Freya?
Well, actually, I mean, I have to go back to Klaus and Hayley for a minute. I feel like I've always viewed them as sort of like a really bitter divorced couple, and they have to share this child. I'm kind of wondering if they were to go in front of like a judge, like supernatural Judge Judy, let's say, and argue their case for custody. Who do you think would get that baby?
Well, firstly, I think it would probably be Jerry Springer if they were going to go on that relationship. get custody? Is that the question? I don't, probably Hayley, you're awful.
As a matter of fact,
I mean, I don't know what to say to that. Because she's got a point.
Although I will say that I think Hayley, you know, for her whole life she's wanted family and she never had parents of her own. So I think no matter how bad Klaus is to Hayley, she's still going to want to create a kind of normal family dynamic for her daughter. So she always will hope to have a mom and dad. So they're going to have to at least be in the same room together, I think.
Yeah, I think the struggle is what's going to benefit Hope ultimately, because each of them believes they're doing the right thing for her, and they, you know, especially what Klaus believes he's doing for the greater good. He's doing all these terrible things to protect his daughter. But I think while Hayley was still in human form and able to argue with him, there was a nice struggle, and out of that struggle came the decisions of how to raise their daughter. But, you know,
there is in fact a custody fight very early on in the season that's very violent, but does result in a decision on who should really be in possession and taking care of that baby. So it's funny you should ask there.
Oh, that's a good one. Now, it's a good thing we have Cami around, because I feel like this baby, when she grows up, is going to need so much therapy. like you would not believe. Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared to kind of sit grown-up Hope down and really explain what's going on?
Well, I think she'll have an advantage having such a complicated relationship with Hope's father. She'll be like, I know where all of this is coming from, trust me. But yeah, Cami has her degree now. Her first client is Klaus, which I feel like if she can solve that problem, she can pretty much solve any problem, anyone's problem. So, yeah.
I feel like there's a little conflict of interest thing there, but we'll let it go. And I have to say, I was kind of hoping that we would have like a high chair at the end of this table for at least one of the babies. Maybe like a little microphone. Who kind of works best with the babies on set? There's no hesitation there.
I work with them so much. They're so cute. They're twins. I don't know if everyone knew that, but yeah, there's two baby Hopes.
Yeah.
And I think
and occasionally other babies.
And occasionally-
When those two babies are on another movie, or
Yeah.
you know, we have to bring
high
in.
demand.
There's sort of
And we have,
And then Chucky.
yeah, the most terrifying fake
the
baby.
frightening rubber baby.
We have like the American Sniper baby.
Weirdly.
It's not an inexpensive
That's a fake
baby.
It is like the most expensive fake baby in the
It's
world.
not like, I wish I'd named the price tag, should we? But it's a very, very expensive. What's $9,000-$10,000
Yeah.
fake baby?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And like the ugliest baby you've ever seen.
It's like little foot will dangle out of the bunting of the wrapping. And you'll be like,
Gives me nightmares. Just thinking about it, just stop.
On the flip side, I feel like Hope is maybe one of the cutest babies I have ever seen on television.
Yeah.
Yes.
That goes for all of the Hopes. What was like the casting process like for that? Were you like, oh no, not this baby, no. Next.
Yes, rejection starts early. Actually, the original, am I mistaken, the baby Hope in the funeral dream sequence was actually the child of our craft service guy, right? Who's had basically a 4-month-old and said, hey, you know, you want to look at my kid? And then you can't say no to the craft service guy. That'd be so awkward. Like, no, your child's not good enough. But she was beautiful, and then it was just about honestly
Maybe
choosing a
replaced
picture.
her.
Yes, well then, you know, no one should put a child into acting. And it was just pictures, like cute baby pictures.
It
There you
was
go.
actually like the best afternoon at work ever. They had this room and there was like 6 sets of twins. And it was just like,
And Phoebe and I went back and I'm like, can we hold all of you guys?
yeah, like exploding ovaries. Just, we were
But
like,
the other thing is, you have to also be like, some of you aren't gonna be here.
yeah. And we did, we held all of them, we were taking photos. And, yeah, really cute.
Now I know that Hayley is not going to be around necessarily all the time to be with Hope, but you can confirm that we will see Phoebe Tonkin in the flesh.
Yes. Yes, you will.
That is good.
I hope. Right, you will.
Have you? I know you guys haven't started shooting yet. Have you all seen like the first scripts?
3.
Oh, wow, first 3.
First series.
So you do know you're just being cagey.
Oh yeah. Strict orders.
Yeah.
Of course. Who's going to kind of lead the charge in getting Hayley back? I mean, I feel like it should be Elijah, but I don't know.
I would say it's Elijah.
Yeah?
I mean, it has to be. Who else is the, he's going to be holding a lot more coats out in the wilderness for
Yeah.
shelter beneath.
Yeah. Codes.
But the coats are going to become exponentially smaller and smaller. This is going to be a tiny jacket. Just going to be a thong. Not even. A false moustache. He's kinky.
What can you kind of say about that relationship? Because, I know, Hayley is a married woman, and I do believe in the sanctity of, werewolf hybrid unions. But obviously there is still something there between Hayley and Elijah. So what are your kind of thoughts on that?
I mean, the one thing I can say about Elijah is that he has monumental patience. I think he'll just wait it out. He'll wait for Jackson to die. I mean, he's always going to be there for her when she needs him. I think,
Although his patience with Klaus is running out.
well, it's 1,000 years of it. He's only had like what?
Well, I'm just saying.
2 years.
2
Yeah.
years.
You know.
Where were we?
I think we can move on.
I think he's going to remain devoted to her through whatever, and to that child.
Well, I'm glad we didn't move on, because that was beautiful. Going back to Cami for a little bit, she and Klaus shared some pretty interesting words in that finale, hinting at maybe a really strong connection between them, some sort of soulmate situation. What is it about her and his connection that kind of really gets him to really open up? Because he's kind of a cagey guy.
Yeah, I think, we were just talking about this today, actually, and Narducci was wonderful enough to explain to me, what's going on with my character, which sometimes I need, but I think she saw her brother go into such darkness, and her twin brother, who's a mirror of her, so it was, a very dark experience for her, and she has darkness in her as well, and I think he sees that, and she sees that in him, and maybe sees in him the parts of herself she's repressing, and so I think there is an untapped darkness of Cami that we potentially will be seeing some of.
And I think at the same time, Klaus sees that darkness in her and sees someone highly intelligent who's vulnerable and human and fragile, and yet sees him with sympathetic eyes and looks at him not as a monster but as a complex soul. And that's something that he doesn't necessarily get all the time and doesn't necessarily maybe think he deserves completely, so there's some attraction there on
She
his
sees
part.
the good in him.
Yeah, perhaps.
Haley. I can tell you. There's silence in the audience. No one like that. No one.
Well, let's talk about something that they will like, or it'll make you guys sad. Apologies in advance. But I feel like this season, more than last season, and even more than on the Vampire Diaries, I feel like you guys just were so ruthless and killed so many fan favorite characters who we all miss so much. Were there any? I can list a few of them if you want. Aiden, Cole. I'm actually going to stop this one. This is making me sad. Take us into the writer's room. Which death was sort of the
Who's
one
to
that-
blame is what
Yes.
you're asking.
Who's to blame, and who were there any sort of deaths that you guys really fought over and rhetorical
I mean,
question.
typical day, we're sitting in there talking about how much we love our actors and our cast is phenomenal, and we're just kind of chilling out, and then the angel of death walks in and says, I feel like killing off so-and-so. And then we figure that out.
They have a big roulette wheel with all of our names on
I
it.
do.
We spin it.
I say we need a good death. It's time for a good death. It's time for somebody to go.
Aiden.
Sorry, dude. You were good. No, honestly, it's funny because this year, we had, just from a logistical point of view, it's, Daniel Sharman, who was so wonderful as Cole, beyond, got a job or something. We had to deal with the logistics of actors, getting other different opportunities or chasing, their dreams in, Saskatchewan and the Middle East and God knows where, which a lot of actors on our show choose to do, go chase those dreams. But but really for me, it's the best death is the death that you don't want to do. It's the death that it took Kevin 2 years to convince me to kill Aunt Jenna, you know. And on Vampire Diaries, like I was so determined not to ever kill Aunt Jenna, and then finally one day, like somebody pitched it in a way, and I went, oh, that's terrible. I love it, you know. So it's the deaths that make you hurt inside, and I think Aiden certainly was one of those for us.
Going back to Cole, who we mentioned, I know we almost got him back in the finale, and then we didn't. I think some of you here are to blame for that little switch up. But what are the odds that we're going to see him again, and in which body would we see him? And I'm admittedly like a little confused about how the body swapping works.
Well, no, we're going to see Cole, the character Cole, as played by Nathaniel Bazalik. Yeah, in flashbacks early in the season, we're going to kind of get a glimpse at the whole original family about 10 years after they returned, and see what their life is like as they've been struggling to like adapt to this new part of themselves, and we may even, if we're lucky, see a little glimpse of Finn as well.
Yeah, I think Davina still wants Cole back, and she has a lot of power with these witches, so we'll have to explore what her perspective is there. And then Freya still has Finn in an amulet, and we know that Vincent's body is a decent vehicle for that soul, so will we see Yusuf playing two different roles this season? He does it so well.
Nice building applause. I like that a lot.
And if you want to see the rest of the panel, click to the left to see part 2. And then, you're already here. Click to the right to see part 3. Do it.